Goodhue County Board of Commissioners meeting for May 2nd. Please, everybody join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all. All right, Commissioner Gresseth.
So I'm District 3 Commissioner Todd Gresseth. I'm the representative for your district here in District 3. Just wanted to welcome everybody. I'm excited to see you students here. You're going to enter the workforce at an exciting time. There's a lot of job opportunities for you. So whatever path you kids choose, you work hard and you're going to be successful. So a lot of opportunities, a lot of things going on in our world now. So welcome everyone else. Thank you, City of Kenyon, for letting us do this. And for Dan Retzico, you started this. This is awesome. This is your day.
Dan's day.
So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All right, do we have a disclosure of interest?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I am going to, on the land use management item number 1, I work with Scheffler's as their insurance agent, so I am going to not vote.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. Review and approve the previous board meeting minutes.
Move approval, Anderson.
Second, Betcher.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Review and approve the following items on the consent agenda. We have 9 items on the consent agenda that we've all had a chance to look over. Are there any changes?
There are no changes.
All right, no changes. We have a motion to accept those.
A motion to approve the items on the consent agenda, Betcher.
Second.
All right, that has been moved and seconded. Are there any other comments regarding it? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We're on to the regular agenda, County Administrator's Report.
Okay. Today, the first item is appointment of the county engineer. Under Minnesota statute 163.07 subdivision 2, it requires that the county engineer be reappointed every 4 years, specifically in May of that year. And that is this year. After nearly 25 years as Goodhue County Engineer, Greg Isaacson has announced his retirement later this year. So as for this appointment, I just wanted to talk about Greg a little bit first, and then we'll get into Jess. So this year marks Greg's 39th year as an engineer and 32nd as a county engineer in Minnesota. During Greg's 25 years as Goodhue County's engineer and director of public works, he's been Goodhue County's #1 advocate to improve the safety and functionality of our transportation infrastructure. From improving a township bridge to advocating at the state and federal level for Goodhue County projects, Greg has done it all. While not working directly in transportation, Greg has worked diligently on recycling solid waste, landfill closure, and enhancing our parks and trails to near regional status. Greg has always been very active in succession planning this past couple of years and leaving the county in great hands as he has planned his retirement this year. Prior to working for Goodhue County, Greg worked for Faribault County and the U.S. Corps of Engineers. I'm just going to cite a few of the accomplishments that Greg has had in his career. He was instrumental in starting the Trunk Highway 52 partnership with Dakota, Olmsted, and Goodhue counties, which has successfully led to many Trunk Highway 52 improvements. He served on the Design Standards Committee to provide for uniform and consistent road and bridge standards for all 87 counties. He's worked on quality pavement designs and construction that have earned Goodhue County several bituminous and concrete paving awards while he has been the engineer. We've received the Project of the Year awards through MCA, Minnesota County Engineers Association, twice in his time at Goodhue County. He has been the Minnesota County Engineer Association Engineer of the Year. He has been the National Association of County Engineer, Rural County Engineer of the Year. Was vital in implementing the local option sales tax and dramatically impacting the amount of improvements Goodhue County could do to the roads and bridges. He has participated in pavement studies in foreign countries. He's participated in countless studies, panels, and partnerships with MnDOT to the benefit of the state and counties. In Goodhue County, he's managed 400 miles of road and 440 bridges, which includes the county and township. And this one I particularly like, when Goodhue County jointly owned the Billsby Dam, he was our dam engineer. So thank you for a great career and all your public service, Greg. With that, the board did conduct a hiring process last year and agreed to offer the position to Jess Greenwood. And Jess has accepted that position. So today, we'd like to take action on that and make Jess Greenwood the next county engineer and do his appointment today. And then I think Jess and Greg would probably want to come up and say a few words.
Excellent. Thank you both very much.
Mhm.
All right, we have a motion to accept Jess Greenwood.
So moved. I will second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any other comments at the moment? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Well, Jess, welcome aboard at the very top.
So,
All right, would either or both of you like to say something?
Well, thanks for this opportunity. Scott, thanks for fact finding. Really appreciate that summation. of our-
just in case you forgot it.
Long career, yes.
Yeah, right. But I do, I really thank these county commissioners and all the county commissioners that have been in your positions for the last 25 years. It's been a very exciting job. It's a job for you guys, if you're looking for a job that has a lot of different things to do. Yeah, because you cannot get bored in this position if you're not working hard enough. There's a lot of things to do, a lot of responsibility, and commissioners is what makes this job for an engineer. Good commissioners, help an engineer be a good engineer, and I really appreciate all the support I've had from these commissioners. These people representing today. So thank you very much. It's been a real honor working here. It really has been a lot of fun. A lot of work. A lot of fun. Thank you.
Well, thank you
Thank
for
you.
all your years.
Can I just make a couple of comments?
Yes.
One of the best parts about getting involved with the Association of Minnesota Counties and getting involved, and I've been on the transportation committee at the state level for my entire time on the board. And the most rewarding thing to me is when I'm in meetings and I hear very positive things about our staff in our county. And that's no exception right there standing in front of us. He's well respected around the state of Minnesota. He's well respected with his colleagues. And I think that speaks volumes to a person's work ethic and workability in the programs they're in. So I commend Greg for that. And I know Jess is going to step in and do a fantastic job right behind him carrying that forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Jess?
Well, I appreciate everything today. Gotta say thanks. I've worked for 2 counties as an assistant county engineer. First in Rock County for just about 8 years. Excuse me. And now about 10 years in Goodhue County. I've worked with Greg very closely. Greg's given me a lot of flexibility in my job. The ease of just being able to work with the different divisions of our department and, gave me a lot of good experience. And I can't thank them enough for that. And I look forward to working for Goodhue County as your next engineer. And, yeah, to all the students here, Greg's not kidding. It's a great job. It's a lot of work, but very rewarding being able to give back to the county. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
There is a cake and coffee in honor of Greg this afternoon at Public Works in Red Wing from 2 to 4.
From 2 to 4. All right. Excellent.
The second item, I'll have Communications Specialist Briggs Topol present.
Good morning, commissioners. Very excited about this agenda item. So a while ago, by a while ago, I mean, just a couple months ago, back in February, I had brought forward an request for proposal for new branding for the county. And following a very enticing and a lot of actual bids coming through, we received 10, which was quite a bit for the communications committee. We went through and reviewed all of the bids and we came up with one that we felt really energetic and really excited to take on. And so we're recommending to the county board to allow for staff to sign on to the service agreement upon final review by the county attorney's office, which they've already actually done. So we'll be able to sign on to this as soon as if we get the approval from you guys as well. So I'll open up for questions as well.
Any questions for Briggs? Well, I found it very interesting to look over the review process, that there were points given for every different level of what you might look for. So I thought that was very well put together. Thank you. Any questions for Briggs? Comments?
I'm just surprised we got 10 bids. That's a good group to look at, to select from, so.
And they're from all over the nation as well as all over the continent, honestly. And this one is based out of Toronto too. So we're very excited that there's so many people that are sharing interest in working with Goodhue County and pushing forward the brand that we want to create and kind of helping us shape who we want Goodhue County to be as we publicize a little bit more. So we're very excited to work with this project.
I have a question. How did you manage to get bids from all over the country and Canada?
That's a great question. I don't know. We just put it on our website and I think it's slowly trickled down. A lot of bids came in kind of within like the last week. So I think people were taking their time. I'm wondering if they didn't just kind of have like a Google search that they did for RFPs, but we didn't really post this out of the norms. We posted in the Republican Eagle, our official publicizer, as well as just online, and it seemed like it worked out pretty well for us.
Looks like it.
So you just put it on locally, but it did spread itself.
Exactly. The power of the internet.
Power of the internet. All right, very good. Thank you.
I would move approval to contract with
Trajectory.
firm as recommended.
I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to accept Trajectory Brands application for the RFP. Are there any other questions or comments? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is approved.
Thank you.
I did that again. All right, we are going to go back up and review and approve of the previous board meeting minute.
KFAN.com and enter the keyword win. You might win $1,000. KFAN.com.
Approving the agenda.
The agenda.
I didn't do the agenda.
Mhm.
All right,
So we just need to approve the agenda, which I will make a motion to approve the agenda.
thank you very, very
I'll
much.
second it.
And it's been moved and seconded to approve the board agenda. Thank you very, very much. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
I was gonna remind you, but you were moving right along. Just let it slide.
Public Work Directors Report. My eyes just go past that. Hello.
All right, the first item that we have today is to for the approval of the establishment of school speed zone limits on our. A little history, back in 2012, Red Wing School District, City of Red Wing, in cooperation with the county, so under Greg's leadership, they were awarded an SRTS planning grant, and outcomes of that planning grant have included construction of roundabout, that's that twin block. Since then, our TZD towards zero dot coalition has worked with the city of Red Wing on this SRTS grant to take a look at what was going to be required to get a speed zone in the area adjacent to Twin Bluff Middle School, as well as other areas around. So the speed zone, there's a map included as an attachment. Signage, that was the plan. radar speed sign. 40, 30. They won't be on all the time. But 40 miles an hour will be in effect. At the school. With that, staff worked with the city of Red Wing and similar action for their portions of the project. Bid out and constructed this summer. So they were looking for the approval. I know it's 66.
Just a question as to, on the map, where that the school zone ends is kind of before the crossover to the, where there's fields there. Why doesn't it go to the end of where the fields are?
No, you're talking on the south side of 66.
You mean by the track?
To the left side by the track. It seems like the school zone ends
Yep.
before, why doesn't it carry so it's past all that?
The focus of where the signage is purely related to where people are crossing. We don't want the sign so far back where people are, the crossing is closer to the roundabout there.
Correct.
And that's why we want the signs closer. We don't want people to forget that they're supposed to be going 30 miles an hour. Want to slow them down, close to the tennis courts there, so they're paying attention to what's coming at them. Close to the the signs will likely be moved slightly. There'll be a little field engineering. So they'll move a little bit, probably to the west to encapsulate there's a school bus access just to the west of the tennis court. They'll be right in that zone. There's not a lot of traffic, not a lot of crossings there, and we don't want to identify any black pedestrian crossing.
So then the second question is, all that area through the roundabout and from to those signs will be the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. And then outside of that, it goes back to 30
On our side,
on the, well, to the left, goes to 30, or does it go all the way up to 40?
so they'll be, if they're coming from Twin Bluff Road from the northeast heading west, they'll be going 20 through there, and then there'll be a speed change.
To 40? Okay.
Any other questions for Jess?
Yeah, on the page here, you have a $10,000 option and a 60,000 with the dynamic flashing signs. Is that the flashing signs are an option or no?
I'm not 100% sure. I think that was just the ballpark range of what the cost it could be for that project, because this is a page out of what was developed from the.
How many school districts do we have in the county that are on the county road? Is this something we're gonna expand on?
The SRTS work.
Yeah.
Looking at grants, it's always something that we have the ability to.
Mhm.
I think on a annual basis. A lot of the projects require studies.
And I think you said the speed would be reduced during school hours. And, I remember, fields of kids out there playing football and baseball and all kinds of things on the weekends, but it wouldn't be in effect then, is that correct?
They'll set the timing for the signs to activate during.
Events. This is in school
I'm
hours though.
not 100% sure about the events that they
Yeah.
have.
So I'm thinking about the little kids running out from between the parked cars along
Yeah, and that's something that the city of Red Wing would handle directly with the school district.
I see. Okay,
Because some school speed signs say when children are present.
yes. they do.
Doesn't matter what time it is. If there's
Right.
children there, you slow down.
Mhm.
But these aren't set that way?
No.
Okay.
And would that be up to the city of Red Wing to do that if they chose to?
The city of Red Wing would work with us because the signs would be on our road.
Okay,
I would move approval to approve the recommendation and the resolution.
I'll second.
all right. It's been moved and seconded to approve the establishment of a school zone speed limit on Pioneer Road near Twin Bluff Middle School. Anyone else have any other comments or questions? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Jess.
Our next item today is to discuss with the board the award of bridge replacement contract that was opened Tuesday, April 25th. We received 3 bids for the project. And, our low bidder was just slightly over the estimate. I included a FYI to the board on this construction. General. The request today is a board approve awarding contracts.
All right, any questions for Jess?
Move to approve Redstone Construction for the bridge work on County 2. Bridge 25-625.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the award for the County 2 Bridge construction contract to Redstone Construction. Any other questions? Comments? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Jess. Land Use Management Director's Report.
Thank you.
Hello.
Then we have a conditional use permit request to consider from Anthony Scheffler, who's the owner of a 275.5 unit animal unit dairy facility in Mineola Township. He's requesting a CUP to construct a concrete liquid manure storage basin capable of holding up to 2.7 million gallons. The manure storage basin would accommodate approximately 12 months of storage capacity, and manure will be land applied via hose in the spring or fall, and appropriate manure ownership transfer and land spreading agreements have been provided and were included in your packet. The county feedlot officer, Kelsey Pettit, did review the application and noted that currently the Scheffler Dairy is hauling manure each day from the dairy facility to nearby fields. And the proposed manure storage area would allow them then to land apply the manure when crops need it or when field conditions are fit, instead of needing to haul every single day. The manure storage area would be correcting a pollution hazard by collecting open lot runoff and milk house wastewater from the dairy facility. Ken Hildebrand, the natural resource specialist at the Soil and Water District, also reviewed the proposal. And he just noted that this project is located within the greater Zumbro River watershed and would be correcting a pollution issue, and the comprehensive management plan for the greater Zumbro identifies these types of projects as priorities. The Planning Commission considered this request at their April meeting and has recommended that the board adopt the staff report into the record, adopt findings of fact, accept the application, testimony, exhibits, and presented into the record, and approve the request for CUP from Anthony Scheffler to construct a concrete liquid manure storage basin capable of holding up to 2.7 million gallons, subject to 3 standard conditions.
Thank you. Any questions? right?
I'll move approval of PAC recommendation with the conditions, the three following conditions.
Seconded.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the request to construct a manure storage basin capable of 2.7 million gallons by Anthony Scheffler. Any other questions, concerns? All right. All those in favor of approving the request, including the 3 conditions, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Right, motion passes. Thank you.
The minutes will reflect
Yeah.
that Todd
Yep, I
abstained.
got that.
Thank you.
County ditch update. Good morning.
And I are here to give you a point ditch update. We were gonna have y'all come out to the ditch today, but it's kind of rainy and we never know what the weather's like, so we'll be working with Jeff here and maybe when you guys do your road tours this summer. With that, I just wanted to say that Chris and Soil and Water has been really great. He's been our boots on the ground out there. He's outlined some maintenance issues for this year along the banks, and you can see there's a couple areas where the landowners last year already kind of did their own spraying. There's some areas that we need to do spraying, and we will work with Soil and Water to try to contract that, whether it's work with the landowners or hiring somebody else to come do it, but that needs to be done. There's some areas that you can see on Chris's map. We want to stay on top of this so that we don't wait 70 years. to try to fix it. The other thing I want to add is that we are working with Soil and Water to develop an agreement for drainage inspection. So as Chris goes out there and he checks things, he hires the sprayers and contractors to clean things up, that we have a mutual agreement with Soil and Water that specifying what their duties were, that was maintained, which I think they may have seen my draft resolution at the next meeting. Typical contract I have also with the other counties, survey services, also same format. We'll go through kind of things up. As we're going through that, we did just recently get 2 areas of concern along the ditch. Driveway, which I think we heard about last year. So we're looking into that one and also lateral A. Wet in that area, so we're working with the engineer and the contractor to do our scoping actually done. This happens either it didn't get connected or it came apart, or sometimes you weren't aware of a connection because things aren't mapped out. Find it. A lot of the guys are already out. Contracting. People fall under a warranty. With that, then, Lucas is going to give you the finance.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is purely for your information and no action is required. So memo itself is essentially a narration of the financial report on the second page as well. So the ditch fund began the year with approximately $130,000 of cash on loan payables to the general fund of that original $700,000. During the first quarter, we took in approximately $8,800 of revenue and had, which was offset by $5,500 of expenditures. The vast majority of these were related to the damages payments to those benefited landowners, primarily those individuals that were on land adjacent to the ditch itself. The fund ended the quarter with approximately $83,000 in cash. For the rest of the year, we expect to receive another $372,000 of revenues. Vast majority of which are prepayments that we received on the assessment. For your information, we actually received about 50% of those individuals prepaid, or 50% of the dollar value of the assessment was prepaid. I was kind of surprised by the amount that we received, but that's a good thing. We expect the ditch fund to have another 436,000 of expenditures during the year. The vast majority of this is simply the principal and interest payments on that loan back to the ditch or to the general fund. So paying that loan balance down. Aside from that, as Lisa mentioned, we do expect to have some maintenance expenditures. We have $10,000 in there for now. And then we will have the remaining damages payments, approximately $9,800, and the final contractor payment of $8,900. And we expect the fund to finish the year with cash and $300,000 left on that loan payable back to the ditch fund. And then just as a reminder, for the maintenance expenditures that we have, those will need to go back on an assessment to, so those benefited landowners pay that back to the ditch fund. They must be paid out of the ditch fund. If we spend $10,000 on the maintenance for spraying of trees, weeds, and that kind of thing, that $10,000 will need to get assessed back on a 1-year assessment to those benefited landowners. I did take the time to put that into our spreadsheet, figure out if it was $10,000, the most that any individual parcel would pay is approximately $700. So obviously, I have another assessment, but I was at a conference recently and I brought this up. There was a lot of discussion around ditches with all of the other counties in the state, and they all emphasized that within the first 5 years of undergoing this massive project, it's essential that we do this maintenance, it's spraying for trees. That way, yeah, we don't end up back in that same spot. Basically, once you have those first 5 years, then the banks could be in a pretty good spot, and then it's more of a ask from there.
So you said you were at a conference. Was that the ditch conference up in northern Minnesota that the
one
AMC
specific
had?
was, my capital conference, and that was a couple-hour-long session specific.
Because they did the one that the AMC did up there. They expected to get about 80 people.
Yep.
They had like 200. It was like massively attended by county commissioners and other people that deal with this every day.
So everybody else has more
Oh,
ditches
gosh.
than.
Oh, there's some counties that deal with this
Yeah,
at
we have
every
one ditch.
meeting.
Yeah.
They deal with this every meeting. Some counties do. So, when it comes to the agreement with soil and water, do we have to do then that as a ditch? The committee for the ditch or the board for the ditch, not as the county board? As the ditch authority? We have to declare that we're doing it as the ditch
Yes.
authority? Okay. And then the assessments would have to be that same way. Right.
So they're reviewing that. We took an example from Dog County.
Just so we follow the right process going forward, that we either take a section of a board meeting and say that we're acting as a ditch authority during this section and then go back as the county board afterwards.
And right now, Soil and Water, Chris has kind of been doing this, they haven't charged us for his services. He's just kind of the guy closest to go out and do it. So I think it's a good idea to formalize. And then if there's any proceedings going forward with assessments, he would be involved and help us do all that too, because he's kind of closest to that.
And then just one more question was in regard to the portion that the county had to pay itself. Did we actually do a transaction to do that? Okay, so it came out of Public Works and went into.
Thank you.
Because in the end, the ditch authority is this, the county is this, and we need to do all the transactions the way they need to be done over here before we transfer that money back to the county. So hopefully they paid interest just like everybody else.
They made a prepayment, so there was no interest.
Ah, good for them.
But
All right.
It was just pretty much just an FYI when we bring back the contract.
I have one question.
Yes.
No, there's, some of the landowners have actually done spraying at theirs. I mean, is that taken into consideration? So when everything comes in, do they have to pay again for the people that didn't?
They have not sent us a bill. I think they're
Okay.
doing
Okay.
and that's why we have to sort of water, get on some kind of path to spray. We really don't have a good estimate how much it's gonna cost to spray.
Yeah.
That some counties, because they have all the ditches, they actually have some of the equipment that just
Yeah.
drives out the spray. So
Yeah.
really, that's not us. So it's
Right.
matter if we work with somebody in another county,
Sure.
if the landowners do it, we need to find some agreement.
I think that's where we got into this situation because some were taking care of it and some weren't. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that,
Mhm. Okay.
the only question I have with that, not to go down that rabbit hole, but the ditch is kind of, I consider it like a road. When people work in our road, they have to, you know, we have to follow certain protocols for that. So I'm just, I'm gonna guess when you go to find people that spray, they have to have a different applicator license than a regular farm applicator license. And my question is there a crossover, a liability issue if somebody's doing it in our, basically in our right of way without having the correct permits for spraying on a public?
Right, I think that's why we want to come into this agreement, because I think once landowners are confident that the policy, hey, the trees are getting big, because they have somebody that will respond and actually do it.
And I think it makes sense that additionally, that people were proactively spraying.
Mhm.
And the way the assessments work for ditch, it gets split out amongst all the affected landowners. So they've already paid for spraying, they're gonna end up being assessed for a portion of that. Obviously, it's not fair, so we can come to this agreement and make sure that we tell all those landowners, you don't need to do this, it's gonna be covered by whatever party is hired, that way they're not. affected on-
Not paying twice.
Right.
I have one question. So as the fund will decrease significantly, and yet there's ongoing maintenance and you figure what, maybe setting aside $10,000 for what you said, the first 5 years maybe, because that's until it's established. All right. I take it all the landowners know this or will know this, or they've been part of the process of figuring it out.
They, you know, we did have that discussion when we went through the whole process. I think they were more focused on what's the big process going to cost.
Right.
And then as we go through, any time that we do another assessment, we follow the statute. We go through and like I say, I think there'll be a little bit more comfort level once we get agreement and we get on a regular schedule of maintenance, then they don't have to worry about that. They know they have one person to contact for it. You know, hopefully that'll be okay, and we'll have a better idea if we can stay on top of it now. But every time we add to the bill, we'll have to.
Right, I realize that. I guess I was thinking of something even before a public hearing so that they've got some ideas to what's happening or what's needed.
I did mention that last December when the initial assessment was approved. There was a paragraph within the memo describing that in the future, there will need to be additional assessments for those ongoing maintenance costs. Whether or not that sunk in at that time.
Right, I was gonna say probably, as Lisa said, they were probably so focused on the big thing that, right, that kind of slipped by.
So is it possible to send out a notice to them once we come up with this agreement?
Yeah, actually, if you guys actually, Strong Water Board agree to the terms on our agreement, then I think what I can do is I can notify all the landowners. And in the future, if you have any maintenance issues, give me some contact with me, looking at spraying
Mhm.
and doing that kind of thing. PR on them, just to let them know that there's now something in place.
Right.
It had to.
No, I think that's a very good idea. So I would like to see us do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, for your information, the job fair.
Yeah, I think if it's okay with it, I'd like Jessica Albrecht, Human Resources Manager, to come up and talk about the Goodhue County Job Fair coming up.
Excellent.
May 10th, Goodhue County will be hosting a job fair. This is in line with some of the direction we've gotten from the board this year to really make some enhancements to recruiting efforts. And so I'm pleased to tell you my memo is out of date. When I wrote that, we had 13 employers, and I would say we could be close to 30 by the
Wow.
end of the week. So thank you to everyone who helped distribute the message we sent out of communication to employees. And I think that garnered a lot more interest from employers. And so we're counting on both employees, commissioners, students, everyone around to help us spread the word so that we can reach job seekers, not just for the opportunities that we have within Goodhue County, but as well as the opportunities that those different employers are seeking. We're really excited to see how this turns out. It's obviously something new. And we hope that if it's successful, we'll be able to repeat it.
I hope ours is the first table they stop at. We're at the beginning of the line, please.
We're being very strategic with how we place our table. So we're making sure that we have the best. Any questions?
Good work.
It's pretty, well, it's impressive that we have 30 employers, and it's also pretty scary that there are 30 employers that are so that so desperately need employees.
Right, I think you said at the beginning, there's lots of opportunities for people currently in the workforce and those will be entering the workforce. So yes, it's definitely a challenge that exists.
Very good, thank you. And it's from 3 to 6. You don't even have to try and get out of school to go.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you. Job fair. Replacement bridge, project status report, public lands. All right, any other questions or comments on?
Brad probably
I
wants to
just
talk about
wanna,
public
I
lands.
just wanna comment on the, we just had our, excuse me, just had our AMC state board meeting the other day, and this issue around the public lands, which you all have a packet on, and you see the amounts that the county's got. We got 50,000 the first year, and 50,000 will get, we got 22 and 23, we got 100,000 through that program. And that was kind of like one-time money. It wasn't like we were expecting it, but WIR, which is the Western Intercontinental Region, and NACO are trying to put together a work plan to take dollars, if counties put dollars into it, to keep this kind of information in front of the federal government, because it's not happening. There's not a consistent message from around the nation on these issues that this deals with. And what they're trying to do is put together a fund that can actually put together the research to advocate for it. But we don't have the research. So that's what they're asking is for each county to take out of that 100,000 we got and put $1,000 back. And it's a nationwide effort that they're working on. Brian and I had some long conversations about it, and he was trying to dig up some more information about this funding. And it's very vague. It's not real concise, but it should be that we should work to get some ongoing funding from this. So the hope is that this board would be willing to put back $1,000 going forward to that fund as a one-time initiative, and then that fund would keep going forward to advocate find the research for us to advocate with to our federal legislature.
Essentially, they'd be lobbying, doing the research
Well,
necessary to.
the dollars really aren't, that we're putting in there would not really be for the lobbying part. It will be for the information gathering and the
The
research and that. And, you know, obviously it says in this memo that the goal is to get to 15 million. I don't know as all counties will agree to it. There's 70 plus counties in Minnesota that got dollars out of this. Some got a lot more dollars than we did. You go to western states, Montana, Idaho, Colorado, Wyoming, they have counties that have monumental amounts of dollars that they get through this. So it's just to be able to get to a point where we have consistent message. So if there's not an opposition, I'd like to be able to say to the state that we probably will go for it, not committing, but that we probably will. They're going to the Western intercontinental
Interstate.
region meetings coming up in May here. And they want to have some idea at that level and at NACO, is there enough interest that we should keep going forward? And it seems like there is, especially in a lot of states that have large amounts of federal land that we end up managing a lot of it. So
you're looking for consensus?
kind of, I'm not asking for a vote, but if there's not opposition to it,
I have no opposition to it.
I don't.
I have none.
Jason?
Fine.
Right.
so then I will, or Scott will let the state know, so when they go out, they can say that we're kind of on board. And it may not fly if they don't get enough participation.
Right.
And there's not enough dollars to work with, it won't go forward. But at this point, some of the counties that get millions of dollars want to put 1% back to do this. So I think there's a pretty good chance it will go forward. Thank you.
All right, county board committee reports.
Just a comment, you all get the AMC update. There was a lot of information in this last one, a lot of stuff's going to conference committee. Big differences in county program aid that is coming out of the House and the Senate. One, it's like a 38% increase. The other, it's like a 15% increase. The probation money's kind of in two different spots too. And the public safety money that would filter down to us is still got to get through conference committee. So if you have any thoughts on that, to reach out to legislators, certainly feel free to do so.
All right, thank you. I have a little bit from the technology committee. There is so far going into the border to border grants, $60 million for regular funding, 40 million for rural areas that are very hard to get to, which will pay up to 75% of the cost. They're also pushing up their maximum for projects from 5 million to 10 million. Who in the world would have thought that we'd be tossing around the term of 5 million and $10 million like it's little? However, it is getting very, very expensive to lay fiber. Let's see. The county, we are going to move forward with round 2. Is that
Yep, it's
correct?
already out there
All right,
of grants.
for grants. And we are looking forward in June, I believe, to have a roundtable summit. We haven't confirmed June 7th yet, or have we?
We had one date, but there's now a conflict that day,
Conflict.
so we're picking a different date. And that'll be for all the internet providers that do work in the county.
All right. And then AMC talked about cybersecurity grants of up to $25 million worth of cybersecurity grants, which that is also becoming an issue, huge issue. I think that's what I have. Any others?
The only thing I would say is that Three Rivers project for the building, the new apartment building, kind of by the hospital in Red Wing, has hit some snags. And there's a meeting tomorrow with the business owners in that area to try to address their concerns, to see if they'll be on board or not on board with the project.
Okay.
All right, anything else? New or old business? I have one thing, and that is I was contacted by a resident in Welch Township about wanting to see if they got neighbors together to clean out some of the ditches of the couches and stoves and TVs and everything else that people drive onto the county roads and then throw off into the ditch. They were going to get some people with four-wheelers to haul out some of the huge items. And they were looking for some kind of help to, okay, now what do we do with it? So I've been referred them back to their townships, but I guess I wanted to bring up whether or not this is a big enough issue with all the townships, whether or not we wanted to perhaps once a year, see if we can do something big. I know I brought this up once before, and at least at the township meeting, they didn't think that it was something that would help them that much, but I thought I would bring it up here. Has anyone else heard from their townships that, well, we know it's an issue, but has anyone else heard from their townships?
Basically, one of the ones I've been to is, yeah, it'd be great to have something in the spring, but what happens when in August when they have an entire truckload in their ditch? So we're not gonna help them then? Or where do we draw the line? Where do we?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't know what the solution would be. I don't know.
well, no, I didn't
Look at me.
necessarily think we were gonna have a solution, but
I've had these
matter.
conversations with Greg and Jess and try to figure it out, because quite frankly, the people who do it, I don't care if you set 15 days a year up to bring it for free,
doesn't
they aren't
work.
gonna do it.
No,
It's gonna still end up in the ditch. There's no clear cut solution. And I guess the only thing is, we deal in solid waste, the townships don't. So is there a way that we can cover the cost of getting rid of whatever they pull out of their ditch? I don't think we can fund them getting it
no,
out of
no,
their
that's-
ditch, but if,
I guess
if
that's
we-
what I was wondering
yeah,
is
if
that,
there's a way we can do that, that's gonna be a board decision, because it's gonna be a cost. Without really rails, we don't know what it will cost.
well, we
No.
have to put rails on it. I
one would have
suppose.
to, right, one would
And,
have to set something up.
Yeah,
But I guess I was looking at it from the perspective that I've got a bunch of people, residents, that are willing to do the work of hauling it out of the ditch. And therefore, but then what are you gonna do with it? So if the townships picked it up and took it wherever they take it, landfill,
Take it to a recycling
suppose
center
it's-
in Red Wing, I suppose, but
that's a long ways.
They don't
You're
want
out
couches.
not as
county.
far as going to SKB, because that's the other choice.
well, the place by SB Foot takes most things, but you have to pay for electronics and that kind of thing, but they would take couches there.
Yeah, but you have to pay for it.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
So the townships, and I, quite frankly, Pheasant Township has one road that it's loads and loads that come out of there every year. I've asked them to quantify the cost to get rid of it. What do you have to pay to get rid of it? So we can try to come up with some kind of number, but we haven't
Track it
got to
some
that
way.
point
It'll be,
yet.
there'd be
Alright.
the cost of the dumpster and the cost of the dumping and.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, well, it seems like that would be a good first step. All right. Thank you. Review and approve county claims.
Move approval as presented.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the county claims. Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Okay, the bills has passed. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Dan, are